Wow. The Voigtlander Nokton 35mm f1.5 vintage line type 2. Okay, so I did a couple videos on this, and I just wanted to show you something from the studio. I love this lens. It's built well. It's a good-looking lens. There's something about this lens. I can't put my finger on it, honestly. The other lenses that I have, the Voigtlanders, like I have an old 21, and it doesn't feel the same. The 90mm is close, but there's just something about this lens that's a little bit special, and I can't put my finger on it, honestly. I got the Type 2 with the brass black paint. I'm looking more at resale, and Voigtlanders, they don't hold their value as much as a Leica lens would, but they hold their value a little better in some cases than other brand lenses would, if that makes sense. Not a lot, but something. And I just thought with the brass lens, I would have a better opportunity to have it hold its value. Now, right now, I'm keeping the lens. I do want the Leica 35 Summilux because I think it's just, I've used it a couple times and I think it's one of the best lenses ever made, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. The new one is out. I love the way they redesigned the new lens. It's the same glass. It's going to give you the same image as the old Summilux, but I just like the built-in lens hood. I like what they've done with it, and I'm sure they upgraded the coating on the lens. That being said, this 35 1.5, pretty damn impressive. Using it in the studio is my big thing. I want to see what it can do. I want to see if it holds the 60 megapixel sensor. It did. The sharpness was great. I'm stopped down to 5.6 to f8, but everything that I would want in a lens for studio, when I need a 35 in the studio, this is it. It's pretty damn good. Is it as sharp as the Apo? No, but it's really close. And with this size, this is a relatively small lens. I'm really happy with it. And the skin tone and the skin on the subject is fabulous. So when I pulled it up, I loved it. I loved the way it looked. I loved the way this felt. I loved the way it handles. The focusing tab is spectacular on here. They did it right, honestly. That's all I have to say about it, really. I just want to show you the shoot really quick. Nothing special. I had to do an ad for a newspaper for a clothing store. The gentleman who owns the store wanted to be in the ad, so that's what we did. These are straight shots that then will be sent to the ad company. They'll design the ad. So I don't know what they look like. They just gave me, hey, we need horizontal, we need wide. So I'm going to give them a 16:9 or give or take, that route, and then they can expand or do whatever they have to do to it in the end. I don't have to worry about that part, thank God. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave them below. I would recommend this lens, the Nokton. It's a pretty impressive lens. And again, I don't do the charts and all that stuff, so I am sure there'll be a ton of YouTube videos on this lens once people get their hands on it to show you the corners and all that stuff. For me, it doesn't matter. If somebody says, hey, the corners are a little soft or it's vignetting a little bit, I just don't care. My end result is all that matters to me, and using it in real world. My last video was, just walking around our building. I loved it, and now shooting in the studio, I really love it. And this weekend, I have a bunch of shoots I'm going to use this lens for. So, for me to say, okay, I'm just using it for professional shoots, and somewhere high end, it's a good lens. Anyway, enjoy the video. If you have any questions, leave them below. And as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And thanks for all the nice comments. You guys are amazing, actually. I enjoy the conversations that we have. So thank you for that. Anyway, have a great day. So this is basically the same lighting system I used in the last couple of videos with that new backdrop from Westcott. The only thing I added was the rim light or the hair light or whatever you want to call it in the back left there. You can see it with the grid on it. And I'm just using the A2 for that. So I'm literally using 3 speed lights and an A10 for this whole shoot. And it works out pretty well. So the first thing I do is adjust the camera to where I want it. So, I want to be around 5.6 to f8. So I dial that in first before I do anything else. And then I'll make the adjustments on the light to meet what I want my camera to be set at. And this is an easy process, and it makes, working the lights a lot easier as well. So make sure you know what you want your camera to be set at, set it at that, and then adjust the lights accordingly. For this, I had the lights up a little higher from my last shoot. The 2 backlights, the A1Xs or A1s or whatever they are, to light the backdrop. Since I'm shooting him 3/4, I had to drop them down because they're not covering the backdrop fully. And with this dark jacket he's wearing, I had to adjust that main light as well because enough light was not hitting at the bottom of his jacket. So here's just a straight out of the camera shot, and you can see, the fall off from his upper waist down is a little too much on the backdrop. It was going dark too much. And yes, you can fix it in Photoshop, but I'm a really big believer in whatever you can fix in camera, fix it so there's less work that you have to do in post-production. And as I said before, you can see, that backdrop did not hang out like they said it would. I mean, there's still wrinkles in it. It's not a big deal. I do like the backdrop. I'm going to use it, but if you're expecting the wrinkles to hang out on their own, they won't. Now I'm just making final adjustments with the lighting, for the rim light, the backlights, and the main light, just to tweak it to where it needs to be for the shot. And this is it. I'm really happy with it. I do turn that backlight up a little bit, the rim light, a little bit more later in the shoot, and I may have turned it up too high, but it's trial and error, and looking at the images in the back of the camera is not the best. Shooting tethered is the best. I just don't do it very often, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass and tell you, oh, I shoot tethered all the time. But anyway, this 35, this is at probably 5.6 or f8, one of the two. I'm not sure. It's amazing. It's sharp. It does the job. I do like it wide open. It is sharp wide open. Again, I didn't do clinically test with this lens. I just don't do that. But if I'm happy with the images, what does it matter? So, I kept turning the lights up just a little bit, tweaking them just a little bit to get to that f8 and have the depth of field, because obviously he's selling clothes. He wants the clothes to be in focus, and it did a good job, honestly. Now, you see some patterns there, but they weren't on the images. It's just YouTube, I believe, that, or the video itself that was causing them. Final images, it was nice. The lens is really well corrected, honestly. I had no, moire patterns in any of the fabric or anything like that had to be fixed, in Lightroom or Photoshop. So I'm really liking this lens. It is a good corrected lens. I don't know how else to put it without, I'm not a technical tester of these lenses. I'm just a real world shooter. So take that for what you will. And again, there's going to be tons of YouTubers out there that are going to clinically, anally probe this lens. I'm not one of them. This is where I turned up that backlight, that rim light, and it's a little too hot, honestly. And I can fix it in post a little bit, but I just wanted to show you what the real picture. This is what it was. My fault. Turned it up too hot. Again, if I did pull this up on the computer screen, I would have saw it better than if I saw it on the back of my camera. But I'm going to show you the mistakes as well as the good ones. So take that as you will. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed the shoot. The lens is fabulous in studio. The quality of the lens is amazing. It is sharp. I love this lens stop down as much as I love it wide open. So that's a pretty positive outcome, and very, very happy with it. And I love the size too.